My name's Kenny Dyal, and welcome to Season 2 of the Scuba Diving Podcast. Anybody, Kristen?
What are your feelings on operations in the Bahamas or anywhere else that like chum and feed sharks to have them come in for pleasure of tourists?
We can start from chum and feed. One size does not fit all. The other thing that when you work with sharks is you control the food to control the sharks, right? And I'll give you an example. You walk in a room full of kids and you have a 5-gallon bucket of candies and you toss the bucket into the room and then you go, okay kids, now sit down. Or you go in the room and you tell them, sit down and you will get a candy. So that's one. There's a huge difference between the delivery of the food towards these animals. Feeding. If I wouldn't feed my dogs, they will starve to death. There's no one that feeds sharks to the point that without that, the sharks will starve to death. So it's not really a feeding. I consider a positive reinforcement. Going back to the aquarium, we go, there's good shark dive operations. There's terrible shark dive operations coming from the Bahamas in the world where organized shark dives are our everyday situation. I can tell you this. Live sharks have given the country way more value than dead sharks. In the Bahamas on 5th July 2011, because of shark tourism, said sharks are 100% protected in our country. You cannot harvest it, you cannot kill it, you cannot even land it. If you accidentally kill a shark, you have to release it back into the water, which prevents the, oopsie, I accidentally killed 100 sharks a day. So is it 100% correct? Maybe not. Has it changed the perception of places like Palau, for example, Philippines, the Bahamas, into transforming, instead of shark fishing, into shark tourism? Absolutely. Does it have an economical value for the country and the people? Yes. It has a live value for the sharks. Can we sit here and discuss the parameters of how it's done? That too. So here's my 3 things when I talk about shark dives, organized shark dives. It has to be safe for the people involved on the dive, both observers and staff. And that could be wearing the chain suits, using this kind of system, using that kind of system. It has to be safe for the people that will go in the area before, after, when, it does not matter. And it has to be safe for the sharks. Once you meet those parameters, and the Bahamas have a very good record of that, then I find that is actually positive versus negative. In regards of our divers teaching something new to sharks, absolutely not. Sharks learn to follow human boats, to follow humans. The first moment we put a canoe in the boat, we still had the bone through the nose. We fish the fish, we clean it off the side of the boat, and you know who did attract it? The sharks. The spear fishers have attracted sharks to the spear fishers since before divers started doing this. And yet, spear fishers can go in the water and swim, and only when they shoot, will the shark appear? Well, that shark was there all the time. So we can have a whole conversation about sharks. Divers are teaching nothing. The sharks followed the boats that crossed from Europe to the Americas in the 1700s and in the 1800s, when they toss food overboard, when they toss people overboard, the dead people, sorry. So it's, I think that perception, and as you can see, I'm very pro shark operations when done correctly. In the other I find very much narrow-minded. And I'll give you my perfect example. I was in Belize for 2 weeks, and I met with this person who runs a dive operation, and I was invited there as a shark person, expert, and this person said, I kind of love your work, but I'm really on the fence about shark feeding. And then during the dive, proceeded on spearing a lionfish, flipping the spear over, and giving it to an earth shark. To which I looked at this person, it's kind of, you're really not on the fence, you're kind of like in the backyard.
Yeah.
The fishers that fish and have the shaken fish at the end of their fishing line are doing what? Do you want to call it feeding sharks, right? They come up with half the shark fin. So I do believe that when done correctly, it has humongous potentials.
A lot of positive.
Lots of positive potentials.
Oh.
I am on that side of the yard together with the aquariums.
And now with the spearing a lionfish and feeding the shark with it? I mean, I used to do that all the time and down in St. Croix. And do you think that can...
So you're a shark feeder?
Yes, I am. No, that's like, I just wanted like someone who's like does this professionally, like their opinion on it, because I don't think, I have the same opinion as you. Yeah, so I was wondering if you think feeding lionfish to shark in that way can change their behavior in eventually hunting them. I think that was like our idea, is that like we need something to start eating these lionfish, and
I heard that before. So we go back to the nature of sharks. Will a shark hunt a super healthy, standing on the reef lionfish? Probably not. Why are the sharks going after the lionfish?
because they're injured or
because they're injured, the vibration. So when people said, well, I'm spearing the lionfish because I teach them to eat the lionfish, it's like they will not go after a nice, healthy lionfish. Now, I've seen a behavior in Belize where the nurse sharks will point the lionfish to the divers, but they will not hunt the lionfish. They'll just go, lionfish. Wow. They're waiting for the divers to, nurse sharks, and again, we go into one size does not fit all. Their cognitive learning is insane compared to my career. Love them dearly, but not the same level.
Boom.
But what I'm saying is they're not trying to grab the lionfish, just waiting for you to do the job. So I don't think you can teach them to hunt deeper, said the healthy lionfish. Now, those sharks will come in, you're not there, and the lionfish dies for whatever reason on the reef, the sharks will still go and eat it. But it's not that by spearing the lionfish, you'll teach the sharks to also go after the live lionfish. I don't think they're going to make that connection because sharks' position is dead, dying, injured, decaying, slow.
They're not making the connection of yum lionfish, that stripy fish, that's good. They're making the connection of that's an easy meal. It's
if
edible.
you spear it,
You know,
I've seen the nurse shark doing like to the diver, and the diver's like, okay. So they trained us really well. But they could not make the connection. Once you spear the live lionfish, it's not that the nurse shark is going to go, oh, I'm going to go and get my own live lionfish. I'm going to wait for you to come and get it for me again.
That's what I would do. Right.
I try to explain to people is in that context is basically, do you prefer to have, your mom's lasagna, or do you want to make lasagna from scratch yourself?
I would rather have your lasagna since you're Italian.
You kind of like one of my husband's because I don't cook.
Fair enough. Neither do I.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen. Okay, so I just have one last question for you.
Yes?
Christina, what is your most fond memory? I know this is going to be hard. These are the rules. It can only be one thing. If you looked at everything you've done, favorite moment if you had to pick one.
My
you
favorite
could relive
moment
over and over.
if I had to pick one. Excuse me, I have to hug this
It's
living
okay.
legend.
I'm leaving.
Okay.
I'm going home.
All right. Safe trip. So nice to see you.
Favorite moment was right there.
He is the Mount Everest of cave exploration. Favorite moment? I would have to go with the first time and every time after that, one of my Caribbean reef sharks came into my lap and said, in this moment, I trust you. I feel okay with you because I don't do timers. They just come and allow me to pet them and slowly sunk to the ocean floor. And I kneel down with them in my lap and I can pet them as they go, yes, in this moment, I trust you and it's okay for you to do this with me.
Gives me the goosebumps. Thank you so much, Christina. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Kenny. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And can we do like a group picture? I know we got some fans here. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Looks
No, we're
crazy.
missing one.
We
Where is
got
it?
everybody?
He's
back there. Thanks for listening or watching if you're on one of the supported video platforms. If you want all things Sweetwater, like a signed copy of my children's book, merch like this shirt or the hat, online courses, or if you want to advertise for your dive facility, if you just want to follow us, go to sweetwaterscuba.com. You can follow my TikTok at Kenny_Dyal, KENNY_DYAL. Our Instagram account, Sweetwater_scuba. Of course, the Down to 60 channels on all major platforms, and everything else we're doing to lift the underwater world. Thanks for being here, and let's show the rest of the world.